I, 38F, went out for a Halloween event last night and found out I have to divorce my 39M husband. I think I need to divorce my husband. He did something pretty unforgivable. It happened 4 years ago, but Elle just found out about it. We've been together over 12 years. Married too. Well, I happened to see my niece at this event and of course stopped and chit-chatted with her. It somehow led to a whole thing to where she finally told me later on the phone about something from a few years back. Apparently my husband made sexual advances towards her, a young adult at the time, and received oral favors from those advances at least twice. Apparently he tried for more and was turned down. Looking back, it was a very hypersexual time for him for some reason. He was also smoking a lot, which is probably related since that was part of him coercing oral from her. We have 3 young children. I haven't told him I know yet. He is at work until this evening. My world is about to implode and I have to keep it together for my kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't know how to have this conversation. The housing market is upside down and our rental is the last affordable one in the state tbh. I can't move out into anything better with my kids and I'm obviously not moving out without them. Honestly, if it were just a random person, I could probably find it in me to move past it. But this betrayal isn't random. He has known her since she was 15. What do? I wish I knew about it then, because it would be so much easier to leave over something recent and so much harder for him to deny, like I know he will. He tells me all the time, I don't deserve you. How do I tell him he's right? Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I wouldn't do anything yet. I'd play it cool and I'd start getting my ducks in a row. You are financially dependent on him right now. I would start consulting some lawyers and start building a start-over fund. Where is your family? Can you get a job? Can they help you? Can you get any evidence of the cheating? I'm sorry. You are right. It is very sick that he has known her since she was 15. Furthermore, she is your family. Be honest with yourself and ask, if he did it with your own family, do you really think he didn't do it with strangers too? My ass would be a detective and searching everything. Definitely talk to a lawyer before saying anything to him. Since you're at a disadvantage financially, you need the element of surprise to give you the best position possible. I would ask your niece why she chose to tell you now. Not in an accusing way, but there may be something important behind why she chose now. Did he make another advance on her? Someone else? Maybe she just finally decided you needed to know? Regardless of her motivations for telling you, your husband is a creep. Get your niece to put it in writing and consult a lawyer before you say anything. Get your ducks in a row before you say anything to him. Do some snooping if you think it will shed light on anything. Talk to a lawyer and do the advance work to protect yourself financially. This is new and hugely disturbing information. Give yourself time to process the betrayal and take action when you're ready. You don't need to rush. Cold dish that man. Yeah, that's definitely a divorce-worthy offense by a long stretch. He tells me all the time, I don't deserve you. How do I tell him he's right? Quote, just tell him as bluntly as that. But I would recommend getting your affairs in order first. Speak to a divorce lawyer. Get your niece's messages in writing and saved. Find a relative who can let the kids stay with them for a bit if things get really tough, and make sure you have money in the bank that he can't access. Because once you confront him about what's happened and mention divorce, things could kick off very quickly. So don't leave yourself unprepared or vulnerable to blackmail. I think I need to divorce my husband. Get a lawyer and file for divorce. I'm sorry for what you are going through. Don't tell him yet. Prepare yourself and the kids for your exit. Get your exit strategy, then tell him. That is absolutely unforgivable. He will just do it again. I can't think of any good reason why she would make up something like this 4 years later. What purpose would it serve? My husband wasn't even with me last night. I know some people are responding to you as they believed your niece to have been a minor at the time these events happened, but I reread your post twice to make sure it wasn't I who misunderstood. And I wasn't. She was a grown-ass adult when this all went down. First of all, what made your niece decide to tell you all of this now? That one confounds me. Second, don't do anything right now. Let your emotions calm down and perhaps talk it over with a trusted advisor who won't immediately jump to dump his ass. You need someone right now who will help you sort this out in your head without inserting their own issues and or angst. You need to get past the initial shock and get to the point of thinking calmly and clearly so you can decide what your next move is. If you don't have a friend like this, a therapist is a great choice. If you don't want to have to explain being out of the house for this, there's a lot of online therapy appointments you can make. I'm not saying you should stay with him, but I'm also not saying you should leave him. That's a decision only you can make. But you need to make it with a clear head, not reeling from the betrayal. What gets me is you're so keeping this from you literally for years. How many times have the two of you spent time in the presence of your niece and both of them acted so naturally you didn't suspect a thing? This bothers me more than anything. That's a duplicitous pair of people who profess to love you, right? My husband cheated on me several times over the 23 years we were married. It's probably the biggest pain you can introduce to a marriage. The tentacles of no longer trusting you're so overreaching and pop up at the oddest times. I don't know your husband, but I know my ex-husband was a constant cheater, and it had nothing to do with sex for him. It was all about getting something over on me. You also need to start looking through your memories of the past to see if there are any red flags you might have missed. Is it possible he's done this again since then? Any signs he hasn't been the loyal, true blue partner you always considered him to be? However, if you do decide to leave him, you need to arrange yourself financially so you can continue on with him. Talking it over with an attorney before making your decision is the best advice you can get. At times like this, knowledge is power. Keep your cards close to your chest, because if you let your so know what's going on before you're ready, he'll love bomb the heck out of you and keep you so off kilter. He'll appeal to your emotions, preventing you from making the decision that's best for you. Good luck with all of this. I've been where you are now. Only the betrayal was more recent when I found out. And, no, this isn't a stupid reason for leaving since it happened so many years ago. What he did was damage the solid foundation of trust you thought you had in your relationship, and that's a tough one to fix. Consult with a divorce attorney. Do nothing until you consult with an attorney. The attorney will help you make your plan. The 3 young children are your priority. As long as you feel safe, you need a solid exit plan before making any moves or speaking to your husband. If you believe this happened, plot, plan, scheme, I would absolutely keep it to myself and take the time necessary to get myself and my kids set up for a life without him. Get those few extra certificates that gets your resume up to par. Get a part-time work-from-home job with a secret bank account. It's just part-time volunteering for a nonprofit so I can go back to work in a few years with relevant job experience. When the kids are school age and you can get back to work full-time, serve him the papers and change the locks. Or, the less Jason Bourne version would just be to get yourself into grief counseling now and in advance of what is coming so you have good supports in place. Then confront him. Hear him out. Make your decision. Most people eventually reconcile because of financial stuff or fear of change. I would advise going into that conversation with a list of contingencies and if-then scenarios planned out. If it's just gonna be 14 hours of crying, begging, and repeating, that drama will go on for ages. While I understand your feelings, and this is off the charts on the EU factor, I wouldn't let on that you know yet. Instead, develop a plan. Don't give him a chance to get ahead of you. Instead, when you are ready, you simply execute your plan. The plan needs to include early consultation with a divorce attorney and focus on your future and the future of the kids. If she's telling the truth, then it is probably time for a divorce. How certain are you that she's not making it up? I think you should get a lawyer and look into moving in with a family member till you can find somewhere more affordable. I also think if your niece was a young adult, then she should have known better than to engage in sexual acts. In the future, I would keep some distance from her. This is above Reddit's pay grade. Seek legal counsel. Get a therapist. I'm so sorry. That's terrible, and I'm sorry you have to deal with this. I can't imagine how you feel right now. I understand people cheat, but the fact he did this with your niece is sick. I would kick his ass out ASAP. He can figure out on his own where he is going to live. You need to talk to a lawyer before you do anything else. Don't say a word to him yet. See what advice you get from your lawyer. You might need to, for example, move money from your marital account into a personal account. You might need to do other things as well before this bomb gets dropped. I'm going to suggest something very unpopular, which would earn many down votes. So apologies. How much do you trust her? Are you 100% sure that this actually happened? Were there any indicators that he was cheating on you? Please be sure that this was not made up or blown out of proportion. Pun not intended. Before you act. Lawyer first. Don't say anything to him yet. But you must get a lawyer. Don't you think you should at least ask his side first? What if it turns out she's just lying?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.